Tariffs on China could put a strain on U.S. soybean sales. Ohio farmers are anxious about their future, telling Cleveland.com that they can't sell their soybeans. We're looking into just how widespread this is rippling across the agriculture sector. Ohio Soybean Association and Council Executive Director Kirk Merritt is joining me now to go over, some of the top questions that we have about this topic. So, Kirk, President Trump has threatened higher tariffs even just this week on China. So, given that Ohio is ranked fifth by the Ohio Department of Agriculture for soybean production, are you hearing of major concerns among local and even maybe regional farmers?
Yes, the concern is actually quite high. The truth of the matter is that the farm economy is really challenged right now. Crop farmers planted a crop and the cost for soybeans $11 to $12 a bushel to produce. They're going to be lucky under current conditions to sell those bushels for $10. It might even be lower. So you can see every bushel that a farmer is selling right now is at a loss. That's a significant concern for farmers. And certainly part of the downward pressure on prices is the fact that China, which was a market that represented 25 to 30% of our entire crop over the last 15 to 20 years, has not bought a single bushel of the current crop.
Could this really significantly set back farms financially? Do you think that maybe they're going to have to plan ahead for next year's harvest?
Yes, definitely. And we're still hopeful that an agreement could be reached with China that would bring them back into the market for our soybeans and would really help with this situation. If that doesn't happen, then I definitely think that a lot of farmers are going to need some assistance to be able to get from this year to the next. As you probably know, the vast majority of farms in Ohio are family owned, and a lot of these farms are third, fourth, fifth generation farmers. And that the real goal is to pass the farm on to the next generation. And it's going to be difficult for a lot of farmers to do that without some assistance or without the market coming back for our exports.
How do the contracts work for selling these crops ahead of time? Are they annual, long term? Does it depend on the company or whoever's purchasing?
So generally, the contracts for purchase are handled at a corporate level, where a buyer in a market like China or Mexico or Europe or Indonesia, for that matter, would contract with a firm that has collected beans from a bunch of farmers. Hundreds or thousands of farmers would sell their beans to a grain handler that would then export those beans most of the time either through the river system. Those beans would go out through New Orleans, or they'd go out through the Pacific Northwest to Asia. And in the case of Ohio, a lot of the beans go out through the East Coast.
I'm wondering, how much is the U.S. a customer in the percentage of things? Would they be able to just rely on U.S. customers moving forward if they have to plan that way, or you say maybe not?
So I think one of the real success stories of Ohio and American agriculture is that for a crop like soybeans, we can meet all of our domestic needs, all of our domestic demands, and still have more than half of our crop left over to be able to feed the world. And we've really built a strong export market. So China has always been a good market. We are working really hard to diversify beyond China, and we're having some success there in markets like Indonesia. Egypt was a market that was not a big market 5-10 years ago and is really important now. Bangladesh, for that matter, and really strong traditional markets like Japan and Taiwan, Europe, Mexico. So there are opportunities to increase our exports to other markets. It's just the fact that China has represented 25 to 30% of our market over the last 15, 20 years, and that's really hard to replace quickly.
Yeah, overnight, maybe not so much. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your help. We'll watch to see how the tariffs pan out and also how these crops, sell moving forward. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.